Yo, what's going on today, guys? It's your boy Zazo, and I'm back again for another video. So today, you can already see what we have. We have another Leetcode problem, another easy Leetcode problem. Remove elements. We're gonna get into this. I'm gonna try to explain to you how I go through it and what my thought processes are. Make sure that you're really paying attention to that and how I'm solving the problem, rather than the solution itself. So let's get into it. Given an integer array nums and an integer val, remove all occurrences of val in nums in place. The order of the elements may be changed, then return the number of elements in nums which are not equal to val. Consider the number of elements in nums which are not equal to val bk. To be accepted, you would need the following things. Change the array nums such that the first k elements of nums contain the elements which are not val. The remaining elements of nums are not important, as well as the size of nums. That's important. The remaining elements of nums are not important, as well as the size of nums. Okay. So return k, essentially. All right. So what I like to do is I like to see an example problem, set it up like a math problem, and then kind of write the code after. So we're going to go ahead and take that approach here. So input nums. So nums is 3, 2, 2, 3, and the value is 3. We want to end up with 2, 2 because we want to remove anything that is equal to val. So the output is 2. So k is 2. And that's the only thing that we are essentially returning. So we're returning the count. We're only returning the count of elements that is remaining after we remove the duplicates. Order does not matter. What that should say? Order does not matter. Remaining elements of nums are not important, as well as the size. All right. Let's get into it. This is the same thing, as you can see. I kind of just glanced at it, but I can see the 2's are removed, but this is not in order 0, 1, 4, so that doesn't matter. And it says it up top, but just double verifying. All right. I'm going to try to visualize kind of what I have here. All right. So we have, I'm going to go with this problem just because it has less numbers. I don't know. There's no specific reason. So we have 3, 2. I'm doing this on a mouse, so forgive me. 3, 2, 2, 3. This is nums, right? What else are our givens? Our given is val is 3. So do val equals 3. All right. So we already know these things are given to us. And then we also know that we want to return the remaining elements. We want to remove anything that essentially is equal to val. We want to remove val. All right, cool. So what immediately goes on my head is I'm going to need something to count after whatever's been removed. I'm going to need something to count how many items or how many integers are in the array. So it's also known as a slow pointer. I is going to equal 0, right? But obviously we also have to go through the whole array to check whether or not the integers in the array, in the nums array, is equal to val, or 3 in this case. All right, that means we're going to need 2 essentially like pointers, right? So I'm gonna need something to go through the array, which I'll just call j, right? And so what we have here is we have nums j. This would be nums j, and this is going to be I val. So we have kind of what we want to set up. We have like all of our givens, right? and we want to end up with essentially 2 2 blank blank. Like this doesn't matter, but this is going to help like validate the result and that our logic is correct. So my thought is we're going to have to go through all these nums, right? This is index 0, 1, 2, 3. And like the notation for that obviously is going to be bruh nums, you know, 0, blah, 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 dot, 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 right? That's what that's going to be. So that's going to be inside a for loop, right? So, and then we have to basically check if j, which is our fast pointer, is equal to 3. We want to know if it's not equal to 3 because we're only keeping things that are not equal to val. Okay. So that's going to be an if statement. And then as I iterate through, right, we need to increment this based on the numbers that we find that are not this number. Might make more sense in code, but let me go ahead and write it. All right, so the first thing I had was I is equal to 0, right? So that's going to keep track of, that's essentially what we're going to return. We're going to return how many times we went through and in this array and see how many times essentially any one of these integers did not equal this, and this is going to count it. All right, so now we're going to do for j in range length range length nums. So we're going to go through the whole array as long as for the length of the array, right? And then we're going to check if nums j is not, ooh, that was crazy, is not equal to val. Oh, not value, val, right? Semicolon, I always forget the semicolon. So nums j not equal to val. So as we loop through, this is nums j, right? Also known as nums 0, nums 1, nums 2. That's nums j. So we're basically comparing each one of these and seeing if it is not equal to 3. If it's not equal to 3, what are we going to want to do? We're going to want to add it to the beginning of nums, right? But remember how I said we have a slow pointer? Look at this index, it's 0. That's going to put it at the beginning, right? So it's already kind of coming together. So we're going to set nums I, right? Because that's the slow pointer that's pointing at this first index, pointing here. And then we're going to set that equal to nums j. So as we're going through, if we find that nums j is not equal to 3, we want to essentially add it to the beginning of nums, right? And then we have to increment this because otherwise, when we go and compare the val and the next index, if it's at 0 again, it will just overwrite the same space, right? It will just keep going. Whatever the number is, it'll keep overwriting that. So we need to increment. We need to increment I. And that's not how you do it. All right, now we need to increment I. And then, so as we're going through this array, let me erase it real quick. Let me erase all the extra stuff. That was just setting it up. Okay, that's a big eraser. I'm going to need to, all right. So essentially what we're doing now is we're looping through the array. We're going to point here. We're going to say, is 3 not equal to 3? That's false. We're not going to do anything, right? Then we'll go, is 2 not equal to 3? True. Yes, it's not equal to 3. So what are we going to do? If this is true, we're going to do this, right? we're going to set nums I, which we know the first iteration is going to be num0, is equal to whatever this number is. So that essentially, this becomes 2, right? And then we increment this I now equals 1. And then we essentially going to keep doing that. Boom. That's not equal. So we're going to do 2. And then we're going to increment that to 2, right? And then obviously this is blank as well. So we end up with this. And the count of that is 2, which we also see in our example, k equals 2. So we need to return, essentially we just need to return, return I. All right, because I is counting how many things are not equal to 3 in this case. But even if you're given another array, the same thing would apply, right? So let's go ahead and run this. Hopefully I didn't miss a semicolon. Boom, and voila. A pretty easy one. It's not super complex. However, it is good to see how I'm breaking down these problems and kind of working them together and solving them. That's going to be the real help here. It's not going to be getting the answers, going to put it in Leetcode, hitting run and submit, right? Because yeah, you'll get the right answer, but if you're not picking up the actual concept behind it, no, I don't want to start a study plan. But if you're not picking up that actual, concepts behind it, then you're just as good as just Googling the answer at that point. If you're not understanding how it's working, then you're just going to Google the answer if you need to do any of these types of algorithms or anything like that. And it's not going to be helpful because you'll be relying on Google, ChatGPT, all those different things, and the concepts won't solidify in your brain. I suggest letting these concepts solidify in your mind first, and then you can always use ChatGPT to kind of supplement small things that you may forget. This is going to be it for this one. It's a short one. If you like this video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and go ahead and leave me a comment and tell me more about what you want to see. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.